Hi, everyone. I'm Heather from the Old Schoolhouse, and I am going to be interviewing Stepheny, also of the Old Schoolhouse. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you could just leave a comment and tell us where are you tuning in from. This company is so awesome because, well, SchoolhouseTeacherscom, there are members all over the world. I mean, we have members in Africa, in the Bahamas, in the Middle East, in Europe, everywhere. So leave a comment. Tell us where you're watching from, and we'd love to hear from you. So I'm really excited. Today we're going to be talking about how to use SchoolhouseTeacherscom with your preschoolers and your kindergartners. And Stepheny Siebold is going to be sharing with us the different options that are available. We know that with the pandemic and with so many just different changes in the education environment, so many more parents are bringing their kids home, and we just want to let you know, if you're new to the homeschooling world, that you can do it. So Stepheny, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Can you start out by telling us about yourself and your family and your homeschooling journey?
Well, thank you for having me. This is our 9th year. I have a high schooler, who's in 10th grade, and I now have 2 middle schoolers. One's in 6th grade and one's in 8th grade. And the youngest 2 have never done anything but homeschool. And the oldest one, we've been homeschooling since she started 2nd grade. So we've done every grade level possible pretty much.
So you can relate to those who have preschoolers. And,
yes.
I think there's 3 different types of parents with preschoolers. Or no, I shouldn't say parents, but 3 different types of teachers that are homeschooling with preschoolers, because you have the ones who are have preschoolers for the first time and they're nervous. Then you have the ones who you have the older kids, and then you're trying to figure out how to preschool, which you've done and I'm doing, and you're trying to figure out how to do preschool while you're teaching the older ones. And then I wasn't going to throw this in, but I think there is a 3rd category. You have the grandparents who are trying. Yes. And that's a challenge too. I've met you. I know you are out there, grandparents. I know you are. So we're here for you. And I'm just really excited to hear about everything that that SchoolhouseTeachers.com offers, all 3 of these types of homeschool teachers, so to speak. What is your role at the Old Schoolhouse?
I am the Schoolhouse Ambassador Mentor, which means that we have Schoolhouse ambassadors in different states and different countries. And they work, there are boots on the ground. They talk with moms and dads and grandparents and show them how to get started homeschooling and how to keep homeschooling as long as they possibly can. And I'm also the support group liaison. So I work with homeschool co-ops and different homeschool groups in other states and other countries as far as how they can help parents and grandparents keep homeschooling or how to get started.
That's awesome. I love that. I love that you're just helping homeschoolers all over the world. And you were a support group leader yourself at one point, right?
I was. I've stepped back into more of the roles with the Old Schoolhouse, and I still teach a couple classes at the co-op that my kids are going to.
Awesome. Oh, I can understand that with homeschooling, your roles are always changing.
Yes.
You never know what's going to happen. So let's dive right into it. Could you let us know, how can families use SchoolhouseTeachers.com with their preschoolers?
Oh, there's so...
Okay, it looks like we have a slight little issue. I don't know if I'm the only one. Okay, all right, Stepheny, let's try this again.
Okay. Can you see it now?
All right, let's see. Okay, the Bedbug Bible Gang.
Yes, this one, Bedbug Bible Gang, is fantastic. It's more towards preschool through grade 2, just like it says, but you can have your older, the ones that are slightly older listening in as well. They're still going to enjoy watching. You get there's 3D video, 3D cartoons and computer animation. It's a 25 video lessons to help your preschooler through second grader as far as Bible goes. This one's been super popular, especially if you have more than one age group that you're homeschooling. So you can have your preschooler watching Bedbug Bible Gang while you're doing something more hands-on with an older child, maybe working on a math lesson or something like that with them, so that your preschooler is still engaged and they're still learning, but you're able to do something with an older one. And another one, we've got a few different classes in the preschool playground. They all have all kinds of hands-on activities, which is huge for little kids. You want them moving. You don't want them sitting at the table for 5 to 8 hours a day like you would see in a public school or a private school. You want them doing the hands-on stuff. So a class like preschool, some of the stuff in preschool playground, you get the hands-on practice with maybe tracing and shaving cream for letters and numbers. Or if you go to, let's see, where is it? The preschool motor skills course, you're going to work on more of the fine motor skills like pincher grip and using scissors and tracing, all the things that they're going to need when they get farther up into kindergarten and first grade, because preschool, you want them to have fun, but you want them to build those skills as well that they're going to need in the future. But there again, you want it to be fun because you don't want to kill their love of learning, because little kids are such natural born learners.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
And for social studies, this class is really cool. Around the World with Stories. This one is, when you have a Schoolhouse Teachers membership, you have access to World Book Online. The Around the World with Stories class follows a character named PreK. And I'll show you this class lesson real quick once it loads. So you're going to go through and follow, your preschooler is going to follow PreK, learning how to fly, learning how to move around, numbers, opposites, all the things that you would think of that, or even not think of maybe, that your child might cover in a regular preschool setting. Yeah. They're getting that at home the same as they would anywhere else.
Those graphics are adorable. I love it.
I know. PreK is so cute, especially the numbers and the size. Anything animal related is always a hit.
See, I'm seeing a lot of variety here. You have videos, and then you have the hands-on. Then you have, I would almost consider that a unit study. The shapes and the time.
Oh yeah.
I love all the different variety.
And then something like this, Heather, I think you said that you used the preschool in a box. You're using it this year. Is that right?
I am. I love this class. So I have a 4-year-old, and what I did is I printed out all the papers of that class, and then I went to the dollar store and I picked out a cute little binder. So when he wants to do preschool in a box, he's like, I want to do my dinosaur folder. So we have it all in here, and I let him, decorate it with stickers on the first day, let him get all excited. And it's so wonderful the way that it's set up, because it's set up per month. So really you could just print out 1 month worth of school, and it's not that overwhelming. There's a list of all the materials that you need to get. And sorry, these are all, I'm just being real here. This is what we actually use. So So we mark it off when we're done with it. But so this particular month, week 1 was Dr. Seuss. Week 2, we learned about Jules. In week 3, the rainbow, and week 4, construction. So if you can see, it's a variety. So, some of the things are a little girly, and some things are, fun. My boys love the constructions, but there's all different types of activities. So we learned about 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish, apples up on top. And let's get to some of the more, when they were learning about Jules, I just went to the dollar store. Some of the, most of the materials, honestly, can get right just at the dollar store. And sometimes if you can't find what you need, you can just print it off online and just cut them out. With SchoolhouseTeacherscom, you don't need to buy anything extra. So you can just be creative. But I just like to have fun with it and, get a few things from the dollar store. So he was able to do that, make a cute little crown.
Oh, I love it.
So for the Rainbow Week, they learned about Roy G. Biv. And I say they because I also have a kindergartner, and I would let him do some of the activities. And here's another activity that they did for the Roy G. Biv. And, they really learned it. It was pretty incredible. It was just a few activities, and they were able to get the concept of the order of the colors of the rainbow. And it was pretty fun. B for buttons. Actually, I think this was B for bunny, but I had some buttons. I think it called for something else. But then again, with homeschooling, you just use what you have, right? Yes. I had buttons, so why not? And then these were super cute. There's little I'm gonna take these out. I was a preschool teacher for a short time before I had my first kid, and one of the biggest things would be finger plays. Little activities like, you have 5 little bunnies and then take one away. How many left? So there's different, songs and cute little finger plays like that. So there is, like I said, it goes through each month, and there's enough for a school year in here. And I'll leave you with this one. I thought this one was super cute.
That's too cute.
So it's fun. It's educational. It's not too much for a preschooler. And my preschooler looks forward to it whenever we do it. So I absolutely love this program. And I think for the price of a SchoolhouseTeacherscom membership, I would pay that just for that class to keep, right? To have all that. It's called Preschool in a Box because you have all of that right there with you.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful.
And something like the activities in the Preschool in the Box, from what I was looking at, you could easily, if you had an older kid who was maybe 1st or 2nd grade that still needed some work on the gross motor skills with, making the button bee and the jeweled stuff, that would even help them.
Absolutely. It's true. Yeah. Sometimes I'll just take my older middle schooler and say, can you help him with this? And and they have a good time with it.
That's what makes homeschooling so great, is because it's more of that one room schoolhouse feel, to where you've got the older ones working with the younger ones, and the older ones can honestly learn a lot from their younger brothers and sisters.
Absolutely. Yeah, they have a lot of fun together. So did you have any other preschool classes you wanted to talk about? Or do you want to get into the kindergarten classes? I know that is also an age that some parents struggle with. They want to make sure that their kids, they know that is the time that their child is molded, and they want to make sure that their kids are getting everything that they need.
My favorite one, I like them all. One of my favorite ones is the kindergarten curriculum in a box. We just started doing the school boxes. I believe it was last year. Heather, is that right?
Yep.
Or was
that's when we rolled it out? Yep, we rolled it out. Mm-hmm.
And you get, it's not like a box you get in the mail, but everything is laid out to where, for whatever grade level you choose, it's all subjects in one. So you have one place to go to, and you're not going all over the place to get different stuff. So the kindergarten one, If you're on, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So if you're on the SchoolhouseTeacherscom site, your menu ribbon up here, school boxes, you've got all your different grade levels, K through 12. This is the one for kindergarten. And you've got all your different subjects laid out here. So let's see, one that we haven't touched on yet. Let's go look at science. Each subject has a curriculum guide, and it'll list out the individual classes that the curriculum guide pulls from. So if we open up the science curriculum guide, it tells you exactly your schedule, 5 days a week for 36 weeks. Don't let that be your set in stone. If you want to spread it out and have it 3 days a week for that subject for a higher number of weeks, that's fine. If you want to do two, if your child wants to do 2 lessons in a day, let them go for it. So you've got your supply list down here. If you need special things for a certain week, they'll be listed out. Each one will have, if there's additional resources, like for science, you can go into the World Book Early Learning Library so that they can watch different short little videos on all different science topics. There's also ebooks on there if you want to flip through the ebooks with them. And then down next page, you've got your schedule. So you see exactly what's going to be covered every week for the 36 weeks. Week 17 and 18, I'm from West Virginia, so Cole part 1 and part 2, of course, caught my eye right off the bat. But these guides are printable, so if you want to print them and put them in a binder, or print them and put them up on a bulletin board or on the fridge so they're easier to find,
right?
You can do that. A lot of people, instead of doing everything on the computer, because kindergartners, when they're younger, they need the pencil and paper more than anything else. So they'll print a lot of the stuff out and they'll just have the links pulled up on the computer in the background for when they need them. And something like, if there's a worksheet to be printed out, print that out, and they're doing that. So they're getting the practice with writing and, doing things on a line when they're writing and that kind of thing. So week 1 is cats and dogs. Each week, you're going to have a link as to what class you're going to for the information. So we'll click here on Exploring God's World. And this is the Exploring the World classes go up through different grades. So these are some that we've used before in my house that my kids really enjoyed. So if we go, so you've got the supply list, the websites and resources, the readers. So you're not buying, like Heather said, you're not buying anything else. The cat part 1. There's all your information and even vocabulary words. If you wanted to add in science vocabulary and have them do something else with that, it's all right there laid out for you, and they're in the reading.
And really, I mean, this is meant for kindergartners, but when you buy a SchoolhouseTeacherscom membership, you have access to all grades. So if your preschooler is ready, right, they could use this. Or if you have a child that's older and needs some help, they could use this as well, right?
Yes, totally. Anything that, just because it says that something's for, say, first grade, if you have a kindergartner who is working at a higher level, then let them do the first or second grade stuff. If you have, and when they get older, if you have a 7th grader who is, let's say maybe they want to do an 11th grade course for history, let them do it.
Right.
You can pick and choose. You don't have to be stuck to one grade level. You can meet your kid where they're at.
I love that. So you were saying you have older kids and you had younger at the same time.
Yes.
Do you have any advice for a parent who, I know before the pandemic, there might be an option to send your preschooler to a church preschool while you're homeschooling the older ones, or grandparents would be able to watch them. That might not be an option right now. And that might be hard for some parents because it is very challenging, especially once you got into the groove of homeschooling the older ones, trying to figure out that groove. Do you have any advice for that parent?
If your preschooler or even kindergartner is homeschooling with you for the first time, get them involved. If you've got one in high school that's doing biology, excuse me, if you're doing dissection, yes, we did dissections at the kitchen table last year, frogs and all. Let them get involved with it. If you're able to, get an extra animal and help them, walk them through the dissection so that they can do it themselves. Or make the body parts out of Play-Doh, and they're working on that at the same time as your older one is working on their work at the other end of the table. Or if you're like mine, one's working on the couch and two are at the table. And if they're younger than preschool and you're used to having them in maybe a mother's morning out program or something like that, and they're home because of the pandemic, simple things that will keep them busy and learning while your older kids are doing their schoolwork: pom-poms from the Dollar Tree, cotton balls out of the bathroom. Let them use Q-tips and maybe some watercolor paint and paint with Q-tips at the kitchen table. They can be working on painting letters and numbers and that kind of stuff. So they're still having fun and they're not driving everybody crazy running around, and your older kids are still able to learn as well.
And they feel special too, that you've thought of them as well.
Yes.
And it's the simple things sometimes that just get them really excited. I was wondering, well, actually, Crystal was wondering, what is the most challenging thing about homeschooling more than one child?
Oh, goodness. Knowing when to combine things and knowing when to say, okay, it's time for you to be a little bit more independent. I'm going to get you started on one thing, and we're going to do the first couple problems on it, maybe for math or history. Well, I combine history, but maybe for math. And then while you work on that by yourself, then I'm going to come over here and get the next child started on something. Subjects like history and Bible and read alouds and even literature and science can be combined. Math is just about the only subject that I wouldn't recommend combining if you've got a big age gap.
Mm-hmm. That's a really good point. And I just had that question today from someone. How do you combine? Because when you're so used to the public school structure, the concept of combining is just so out there. But yes, it's very doable. And a lot of subjects are repeated throughout the years. So whatever grade you teach it to the child doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
As long as they get it before they graduate.
And they're going to have gaps, but they're going to get filled in.
That's true. And SchoolhouseTeacherscom absolutely can help fill in those gaps. And right now we have an incredible sale going on where you can save 30%. If you use the code HOME at checkout, then you can save 30%. And not only that, but when you get a membership, you also get a beautiful print copy subscription of the Old Schoolhouse magazine. You get this to your mailbox 4 times a year. These are beautiful. This is the fall edition. It is so gorgeous. I just love getting these magazines in the mail.
Oh, my favorite mail.
And then you also will receive a beautiful Hey Mama Bear tote. They come in a variety of colors, so it might not be this one, but all of them are adorable. They are a variety of colors and styles, and they are just absolutely beautiful. So you will be paying only $35 for every 3 months if you use code HOME at checkout. And this is only going to last until October 11th. So I would definitely do that as soon as possible to get that deal. If you just want to test it out for 3 months, and then I think you probably would still like it and want to keep going. But this is a great way to just test the waters and see if this is for you. And there's over 400 courses. And there's also things for parents, which I think for the parent of a preschooler or kindergartner, we're not homeschooling the whole time. When you have, I want to speak now to the parents who just have the littles, right? So a lot of times they just are wondering, how often should I homeschool my kids? It doesn't have to be every day. Do you agree with that, Stepheny? Or
Definitely not.
And
Definitely not.
But there's that trying to figure out that balance, because you didn't have kids in the home and now you have these kids that you're trying to home educate. And so I think those parent resources at SchoolhouseTeacherscom, I think it's labeled under just for parents, are just so helpful, because it helps you with housekeeping, and it has recipes and has so many different options for parents who might be struggling with this new life, because it's a new life, but it's a wonderful life. Yes. And I hate to say it, but it goes by so fast.
Too fast.
Yes. So we have a question. Do you have any recommendations for the moms who work from home in homeschooling an only child, kinder, for the first time?
Well, I also work from home. I have a business and do things for the old schoolhouse. Kinder's so easy to do. It doesn't take hardly any time at all. At kindergarten, not including extra stuff like actually sitting down at the table doing schoolwork, maybe 15 to 30 minutes a day tops, and they're done for the day. So you can have other projects on the back burner for them to do. They can get practice with matching colors, give them a basket of socks. They can be drawing. They can be outside playing. There's all kinds of different things that they can do. Look in your area, if your area is opened up, because I know a lot of them aren't, for homeschool co-ops, because a lot of groups will have, special fun classes for that age that they can do one day a week. And that way they're around other kids some, instead of being, just them at home every day, because kids like to get out and play with other kids. Even homeschoolers, we don't stay in the house all the time. I think I'm home less now than I used to be. So it's not easy, but it is completely doable. And if something happens that you have a bad day, then put the books up and do it again tomorrow.
And I'm realizing that Diana has a young child. So if you're starting them young, then just get into the pattern, right? So yes. It might be harder with older kids, speaking from experience, starting to work. And I was hesitant, because when I started working 2 years ago, I had a 1-year-old and I had teenagers, and I wondered, how can I do this? But you get into that pattern, right? Yes. And the kids just get used to it, and they learn to respect that part of your life. And homeschooling might not look the same when you're working, but that's okay, because that's the joy of homeschooling.
And let them help too. If there's something that they can do to help, I don't know what kind of work that you do, Diana, but if this is something that they can help with, if you need papers filed or you need things going through the shredder, let them do that. Well, of course, operating a shredder while you're watching, but let them get some scissor practice in and cut the paper up into little pieces.
That's cute. That's good advice, Stepheny. I love it. Do you have any other advice for homeschoolers of littles right now?
breathe. Whatever your worst day is at home, that day would be 10 times worse if they weren't with you. And you really, really will miss these days because, like Heather said, they fly by way too fast. I didn't think I'd be looking at no elementary school kids at home. And then this year it happened. I don't have any K through 5 anymore. But you move on to the next season. And when you start homeschooling, don't go by how your first year is. If it's hectic, that's going to happen. Your first year, don't go by your first year experience, because the next year you'll know what doesn't work. And what works one day isn't going to work the next day necessarily. So you have to be ready to change some things. And that's okay. Like if you're using SchoolhouseTeacherscom and one class isn't working for your kids, then you've got 449 other options to pick from.
That's a really good point. I'm trying not to tear up here when you said, that you're going to miss those days, because when my oldest were younger, my husband would say it to me all the time. And I remember, they got into nail polish or something. It was all over my bathroom. And I was trying not to get frustrated. He's like, you're going to miss this. And I turned to him, I said, I'm going to miss having to clean up nail polish. But I totally get it, because it's just that age is just so sweet and so wonderful. And it's just, it is good advice to focus on the good times, because a lot of times as moms, we have so much going on in our mind and we're just so focused on all the negatives. And even today, when my husband came home, I could have been like, do you want to know what your preschooler did? But that's not really what he wants to hear. It's really important to focus on those good things and allow the Lord to just help us to not dwell on the negative and not dwell on because this is training, right? This is the time we are training those children to serve the Lord, so they won't depart, from his ways when they're older. And so, like you said, there's going to be times you're just going to have to put up the books, because we're going to need to train them. This homeschooling preschoolers and kindergartners is so much more than just, it's so much more than just the curriculum. And Stepheny, I would love if you could tell us about some of the options, like the extras that we have for moms that can maybe help them during this time.
Of course. Let's see. So if you go on the site, and let me know if you can't see my screen.
I can see it.
Okay. So there's a couple different areas to go to. There's the monthly menu, which is fantastic because every single one of us is in a rut from one day to the next. Me, I am about ready to swear off chicken for dinner and for the next month. But every single day, there's a different recipe laid out. So let's say today is the 23rd. So we'll go to September, and what's on the menu for the 23rd? We've got barbecue pork or beef sandwiches. And these look really, really good and would be great if you've got a crazy day coming up. You've got school for all the kids. And then after school, you've got 2 kids going in 2 different directions for sports practice in 2 different cities. And you have no clue what you're going to feed everybody. Here you go. A slow cooker pulled pork sandwich. I mean, how easy could that be?
I love that. That's awesome.
And now yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know. Okay. So I know you can't share your screen and show us the member dashboard, because that is top secret. You have to be a member. Go ahead and use code HOME and you can become a member and access the member dashboard. But if we're on the member dashboard right now, can you think of a couple things that our members would be able to see that could be helpful to them?
Oh, on the member dashboard,
Yes.
Actually just yesterday and once a month, We have what's called the Hey Mama Bright Spot, which is just an informal chat session where you log in on a Zoom call. Yesterday's topic was including art in different subject areas.
Awesome.
Which I was absolutely thrilled with, because that's what I love to do, is bring art into different classes. We actually brought art into literature class the other day, and it was draw the hound from the Hound of the Baskervilles, and we did it for 6th through 10th grade. And they all look completely different, but it worked.
That is so wonderful.
We've also got, if you're a mom who's looking for activities for their kids, we've got the digital art and photography fair they're accepting submissions right now, and it'll be judged nicely. It'll be, constructive criticism that'll help kids get better at their artwork. That's the whole goal of it. There'll also be certificates rewarded for participating, as well as ribbons for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place.
Aww.
And we have the Storytime show and tell for little kids as well. So they had show and tell time, and now they're homeschooling. They can still do that, but they get to do it with kids that are all over the world.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's for preschool and kindergartners.
Yes.
So I love that. We have a question about when the chats are. So if you check your member dashboard, there should be a member calendar. Is that correct, Stepheny? You check that calendar, and that will tell you when. I believe it's once a month, right? Mm-hmm. But there's a bright spot that's once a month, and then there's another one that is not a bright spot. I think that is just a Zoom chat. I can't remember what it's called. It's Hey Mama something. But there should be 2 a month that are for moms. And then there's the one that's once a month for the preschool and kindergartners. So if you check your calendar, this is brand new. So that's why I'm trying to remember. But it's a brand new concept, and they've been going well, apparently, right, Stepheny?
They're really fun. It's great to be able to get on there, and if every other mom that you know is busy doing stuff that they can't get together, you've got other moms that you can bounce ideas off of and just talk to other adults, because sometimes homeschool moms, we don't make time for that. So you take 30 minutes out and you get mommy time.
So the other one's called the Members Lounge, which is so perfect. Isn't that what we need as a mom, just to relax, grab our own cup of coffee or hot chocolate or tea, and just hang out with other homeschool moms? And it's such an awesome opportunity.
Yes.
And I want to say, I did take my youngest two to I didn't take them, but we did the Zoom preschool story time and show and tell, and they loved it. They were so excited when Dad came home to tell them all about it. So these are awesome opportunities for our members. Yeah. Well, thank you, Stepheny. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your evening to share with us. Before we sign off, is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience?
Moms and any dads that are listening, don't let this time go to waste. It really does go by quickly, and you're going to feel sometimes like you're not doing enough. I promise you are. And whatever you think that you're lacking in, your kids are going to be okay. They're going to have exactly what they need when they need it, and God's going to make that happen.
Amen. Awesome. So before we sign off, we have the information here exclusive to SchoolhouseTeacherscom members. The Hey Mama Bright Spot Zoom chat. The next one is going to be October 19th. So if you go into your members dashboard, you can sign up for that. And the next Bright Spot is going to be, let's see. I said the Bright Spot already. Okay. The Bright Spot is going to be the 19th, so be there. Sign up. Okay, now we have the next story time and show and tell, and that is going to be October 12th. So that'll be coming up soon. So you want to be sure to check that out. So that's the 12th. The day before that is when this sale ends. So make sure you get in on this sale and you get your membership while you can. Use code HOME at checkout at SchoolhouseTeacherscom. And just want to remind you, you could receive a beautiful copy of the magazine in your mailbox 4 times a year. And if you sign up now, you will also receive a beautiful Hey Mama Bear tote. And the colors and designs may vary. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much, Stepheny, for your time. And I hope everyone will share this video with their friends, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.